Summoning Gondolin, Rebirth of the Elvish City.
A story was written by an Elven king.
Inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Credits to my friends and art creators.
Introduction.
In Gorgoroth, Mordor, at one of the strongholds of Sauron, two met. Saurina Marion and Feanor started a new conversation that was hidden from Saurina's father Melkor. They were talking about a fallen elven city. Everyone knew that city was sacked, most of its people killed, but there were refugees. After the War of Wrath, the ruins of Gondolin were underwater, like Belerion and most of the Middle-earth. Of course, these were known, and Feanor read all of these in his second life at Green Forest Great Library. But that conversation, it was clear that Feanor knew something more. The Elven Lord told the Dark Princess that he will travel to Gondolin the next day, so it was a farewell. Saurina couldn't believe her senses. She was in a doubt to talk, and she finally told him a story that was known by the Dark Lord's supporters. It was to her that all people of the city were massacred brutally. Feanor didn't wait for a moment and told her, "Don't believe in stories." So the journey had begun. A red jewel that had magical powers, Carnamiere, was given by the elf lord to the princess, telling that, "Use this red jewel whenever you want to talk the possessors of them. It's given to my clan and to some friends. That wasn't used for ages." Namarie, the dark princess, was treacherous, but in this matter, another thing happened. She wanted her part of music to be heard than his father's. So she never mentioned that Feanor was in Mordor. It was clear that the first place Feanor should visit was Lothlorien, where winter never comes and golden leaves are ever golden. Where niece of him, Galadriel, lives. He would have questions, but the answers were always less or more. Anyway, she refused her uncle in the search for Gondolin. Of course. She had reasons, of course. She had enough reasons. That night, Feanor told Galadriel he will be off to Havens. The king left the forest with great sorrow, but also with hopes. He should be the one that finds Gondolin again. His kin. Saurina had used the red jewel the first time, said she hates Galadriel. Ciri, she called her name, but that name was hidden from Feanor before. That night in the wilderness, the red jewel shined in the midst of darkness. Maybe curious eyes examined, but they did nothing. After the spell was finished, Feanor put the jewel into a safe place under his blanket, and no other light except the Vala Circa and stars of Havens left behind. At the same time, Saurina did something new in Mordor. She let the moon and stars shine just for that month over them. No one knew who did that, but Melkor was furious with it. The Dark Princess was longing for CursedFeanor maybe, but that name was forgotten in those lands, and she wasn't in a mood of making them remember. Feanor should be off to Green Forest for its library, the great library of Green Forest, before he leaves all behind and leaves Middle-earth in his third life. Tomorrow I'll be in green evergreen forest. He felt that he was being watched, but he had the taste of the wind of Green Forest. So no one recognized him as CursedFeanor. He was just the king. No one knew that he once fought as a guard of borders. He went to library. The white tree was still there. His monument statue also. His eyes searched for Kalamakala, the young elf who was an apprentice to the wizards. He couldn't see him. He was just about to quit, but an old voice behind him called to him, "Your Highness, here is the book you were looking for. Summoning Gondolin, Rebirth of the Elvish City."
At Green Forest.
Ooh, all was left behind, all was a memory. Who knew that? Ooh, a king is always a king. Far away from his people, he carries a star.
Feanor. Haven't I told you? That star is always with me, even in the darkest lands.
Moile, ElenHaira,
Feanor, my distant star.
Moile. Yes, she is always with us, my king.
Feanor. Ooh, when I walked on the Middle-earth in my second life, everything seemed different. Friendship came to me, and that's what I shall never forget.
Ooh, I loved you so. Everything was clear I was for ElenHaira in this quest. The city of elves was calling me. We were both summoned for Gondolin. ElenHaira from Valinor and I are from Middle-earth. Ooh, how it would be beautiful. Amazing, shining in the glamour light of red, orangey, yellow. A place in lost Middle-earth. It had to be there, in my fingertips. So it was a dream again I fell into, a dream of our distant star, skating in the frozen lake with gods with ElenHaira. It was the very moment when we wear our skates. Her hair was shining as jewels sprinkled as the snow was falling down. I looked at her, that moment for seemed to be centuries. Only one moment. I told her when she looked at me with a meaningful impression, I love you so.
Aragorn and Arwen inspired.
Fallen.
When leaves fall, I loved you. We all fall when the city falls. So give Middle-earth a chance. Tell me that you have fallen in love with me. Tell me all the leaves must fall.
Elven woodlands.
2 elven sentinel and a king.
Fighting in the midst of blood, tears, and mud where he commands. 2 sentinels were protecting his flanks, for he was the king, for he was the one who stands tall against the dark foe. So the harper sang a song where all the elves, dwarves, and men were there at the minstrel hall of the kingdom, with 2 sentinels standing tall. Battlefield?
Kings.
The kings passed, the minstrel sang. For those in Middle-earth, the harp rung. Where there is always a sanctuary, in the hearts of kings, we shall be the kings.
Scalds and shadows.
When ruins talk.
It was the most shining of the stars. It was the city sparkling like jewel. It was the most beloved one. It was the Gondolin. It was the fallen. So who could you possibly ask what happened? What was the fate of the fallen? Who could you find? Where to begin? Could the ruins, could they talk to you again?
Sorrow's harmony.
Only gods.
Gondolin, the pearl that Feanor searches for in his third life. They say it was under blue, no ruin left. They say only Iluvatar has the power to let it see sun and moon again. For those who believe their might is equal to God's, it's the impossible reward. Let the stars shine on this pearl again.
Songs of elves. The Tolkien Ensemble, Sir Christopher Lee, Sina Asmussen, Galadriel's Song of Eldar, translation.
Elvenkind and the forest.
When elves did live in the forest, the trees and ents knew not a drop of grief. Played, enjoyed, talked, feasted, danced together. They were the elves in forest. And when the elven kind left to the west to their kin, forest knew that nothing will be the same again.
Magical forest sounds.
And all the angels.
It all began with the Ea, the thoughts, where all of the things, all of us were notes of the music which had to be sung by angels. Now it's time for us to sing our own, that the notes of a city which is unknown, from the blue a pearl must be reborn, and all the angels must be known.
The grace of Undomiel.
Before
the winter falls, on the Aaron Lasgalen's lands. I must find the clue, where it must be at the blue. Before the winter falls, on these elven woods, the city of elves in the blue must be there for our love to come true.
Chronicles of Narnia. Winter Woods music.
and the crown on helmet.
He carries at peace and war the crown of Elvish from very far. You can see if you embrace the king, that the crown on helmet shall rule. CursedFeanor is the one who has the ring. That the ring to rule. Now on battlefield, it's time for revenge, which was taken from the Elvish heritage. Time to rule, time to fight, time for the sword. CursedFeanor is the one who leads, and the crown on helmet shall rule.
Battlefield.
Time to walk without talk.
Then everything was silent. Not a leaf dared to fall. That the king stands on battlefield, he was there alone. He crossed the field with a wound. Will it be ever possible to be found? The city under the blue. Would it wait for our battle to come true? Now it's time to walk without talk. Did Aaron Lascallon Wizards wrote, what is the hope? Hope for finding the city that was lost.
Enchanting.
A deathly sleep.
Feanor fell asleep, a deathly sleep in green forest. No one except one could help him. His body was put over the stone in front of his monument in the great library. But what could really happen?
Save Feanor.
There were two ways to bring the Elvish king Feanor from his deadly sleep, and one is with Saurina Marion's hands, the other is on others' hands. Story: Saurina Marion started to live in Lothlorien with Anatar. These were the best days. But Melkor kidnapped her and put her on Dark Tower 2 times. First, she escaped herself, wounding Melkor. On the second, however, she needed help. She used the red jewel, Carnamiere, that Feanor gave to her for communication. The jewel had magical powers. As one is to be cast by Feanor, Feanor used his soul to be the everlasting sky over Mordor. He shined in red, and all the creatures, including Melkor and Sauron, became blind as long as the spell continues. Saurina escaped from Melkor and Sauron, whom Melkor tried to marry Saurina Marion with, instead of Anatar. She reached Arwen Rivendell, one of the lead rescue planners, and they ride Don't Look Back. Now the first way was to tell the story to bring the soul of Feanor from Mordor. It had to be done by Saurina, but she betrayed Feanor. Yet Feanor didn't tell her the other way. If people like this story, his soul would return from Mordor, and he would be safe. A friend liked, and he was safe now. They say that her name is Arya. Thank you. Elvish king was free again.
Let us sing together.
To Elvish city.
And Feanor found Gondolin in the pages, an elvish city of pearl and blue, nothing more than a memory. He lay with his back to a blossom tree in the garden of Great Library. With his book open, he fell to sleep. An angel came to him, whispering, "You'll see the best of dreams, skating with gods at distant star." Thus he was blessed with ice, and he saw her. ElenHaira, words to the Eldar, words to the dwarf, words to the men. Gondolin lives again.
The end.
Of course, no elves wanted to be in Middle-earth or even Earth. Left to undying lands, last ones remain. I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe looking for friendship with... Oh, I must be to Gondolin. I must be to Gondolin. I must be to Gondolin. Farewell. Namarie.
The starlight fades silver leaf, a whispered word, a silent grief. Beneath the moon, a lonely tear, for golden days no longer near. Oh, Anor lumen, where has light gone? The shadows fall, the day is done. An echo in the fading sun. Our long defeat has just begun. The forest dreams of ancient might, now cloaked within an endless night. A king's lament on winds is born, for promises forever torn. Oh, Anor lumen, where has light gone? The shadows fall, the day is done. An echo in the fading sun. Our long defeat has just begun. Stand alone, the winter claims a bird.